Hey, everybody. It's Christine, and you are listening to and watching What the Flip Live. So, I'm broadcasting today on both What the Flip Live Facebook page as well as my personal page because I am here remote in Colorado and it is snowing outside. It was so cool to wake up this morning to look out the window and see snow on the trees and snow falling from the sky. I was born and raised in Montana and lived there till I was about 27. And so snow is nothing new to me. But since then, over the last, give or take 20 years, I've lived in areas that we don't get much snow. Houston, obviously. So I was really excited about that, but even more excited about my baby grandson, Eldon Scott, who was born a couple days ago here in Colorado Springs. So I am remote here in their apartment. You can see they've got good design taste. I wonder where they got that. Anyway, so he was born a couple days ago, and when I knew that he was, that she was in labor, or at least close to being in labor, I flew out here, and I was able to arrive shortly after he was born. He's doing really well, and mom's doing awesome. They are such troopers. He did have some complications, so he is in the NICU on oxygen, just to kind of, get his lungs a little stronger before he comes home. But other than that, he's chubby and he's cute and he's sweet and he's snuggly. So I can't wait to get done chatting with you guys today because I'm going to head over to the hospital and visit for a little bit. So in the meantime, I wanted to pop in and talk a little bit about design because obviously that's what I do. REI Design Solutions is the sponsor for What the Flip Live. And our specialty at REI Design Solutions is helping real estate investors. I spent over 20 years of my career working with homeowners, working specifically in remodeling and kitchen design. And so when I decided to start flipping houses and realized that there was such a void in real estate investing in those circles, that I decided to go ahead and pivot, and instead of flipping houses, I decided to help real estate investors flip houses. Because as I've mentioned before on my show, it is a tough gig. It is not easy, and you guys need all the help you can get, and especially when it comes to design. And I know a lot of people will blow that off. And I will say this, one caveat is that having a designer help you with your fix and flips is not for every real estate investor. So in other words, if you're flipping houses below the median home value of your particular demographic area, then you do not necessarily need to commission the expertise of an interior designer. It is only if you're in higher end homes, and it doesn't even have to be ultra high end homes, but if you're in flipping in neighborhoods where you know that buyer is more discerning, then yes, you should call in an interior designer to help you with your flips, just to make sure that the design flow in terms of the floor plan and the layout is adequate, not just adequate, but spot on. Excuse me. And you also want, and you also want the help of a designer to select your finishes, because that's what we spend all day doing, is looking at trends, working with homeowners. We know what people want. We know what homeowners are doing in their own homes, and we can help you bring that into your fix and flips on a level that will appeal to more buyers. So with that said, I did want to talk a little bit about what we have lined up for the rest of this month, because it is October and Halloween is coming up, and a lot of people love Halloween. I can leave it or take it or leave it, but dressing up in costumes is kind of fun and all that stuff, and talking about scary stories and what have you. So we are going to do a few things in the next coming weeks that have kind of a Halloween theme to them. We're going to be talking about, this week we're going to talk about freaky finishes, but just with this remote and the travel and all that, I wasn't able to put that together. I'll do that some other time. But next week, we are going to, let me pull this up real quick. We're going to be talking to, oh, there it is. Yes, I said. We are going to be talking about the case of the cursed kitchen. There was a particular investor in the Houston area that did a flip, and they didn't have any help from a designer. It was just kind of them and their contractor determining what to do. This was around a 800 ARV, 800,000 ARV property. And unfortunately, the finishes and the design and everything took on more of a kind of rental look to it. And you just can't do that up in that ARV. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. I'm going to show you a few pictures, show you what they could have done right and done differently, and what, warning signs of things that you should not do, especially in that ARV, with your kitchen design specifically, because kitchens do sell houses. So we're going to be talking about that and looking at those pictures and sharing with you a few ways that you can avoid those common mistakes, because what did happen with this property is it did sit on the market. And that's actually kind of what we're going to be talking about here in today's episode of What the Flip Live. And if you're just now joining, thank you. I'm so glad you guys are tuning in. So let's see here. Where is it? Oh, then on the 22nd, the week of the 22nd, so I think it's like the 24th, Wednesday the 24th, because we do air on Wednesdays at 1, we are going to be talking about flipping. Is it a trick or a treat? And we're going to have a special guest, and we're still working out those details, so we're not going to announce just yet who it is. And then, of course, the 29th, we're going to be talking about Halloween rehab horror stories. And I really, really, really need your guys' help, because what I love to do is get some horror stories from you investors as the things that you encountered, whether it was like a scary house that you walked, whether it was a scary closing because title was a mess, or whether it was just a scary rehab because somebody screwed up and things didn't go right and it took forever and the house on the market, whatever it is. I want to hear your scary story. So please, please, please PM me with your scary story. If you don't want to write it all out, then I can give you a call and I can kind of take some notes from you and just kind of get the basics of it. And I'll give you a shout out on that week's show. And then from there, it's whatever. We'll figure it out as we go. So bear with me today because of the travel and because of wanting to snuggle with my grandbaby. This is kind of semi-raw and slightly scripted. So I'm going to be looking off my notes here and there, but I'm sure we'll get to the bones of it, because I really, really want you guys to understand how important design is in your buy, fix, and flip projects. So let's get into it. Now, in this episode, I'm going to share 3 reasons why good design is so important to your fix and flip rehabs. As I mentioned before, it's really easy to kind of blow it off. Oh, I don't need a designer. Me and the contractor can figure this out. Or maybe you think you have some design savvy, and maybe you do, in terms of picking out your finishes, figuring out what walls to remove and how to remove them, move them around, whatever. And if you do, that's great. But don't take your own word for it. Enlist somebody to give you a second opinion, give you some feedback as to whether the route you're going is actually going to be good for that particular project. So let's get into the 3 reasons why design is so important in your fix and flip rehab. So reason number 1 is that the homes you are rehabilitating, that's what rehab is short for, obviously, the homes that you are rehabilitating are for real people. So you're not flipping this property, you're not rehabbing it, you're not coming in and doing these things to make it nice and shiny and bright and new for you. I mean, you are ultimately, want to make a profit, you want to grow your business, and that absolutely, but you are serving the community by rehabbing these houses, and they are for real people. And real people have real opinions and desires and things. So just think about that. Like, try and consider the potential buyer. Who are you selling to? Maybe even come up with, an avatar, like they say to do in business, for figuring out who your ideal client is. When you're in that particular neighborhood, consider who the buyer is going to be. What do they look like? Do they have kids? Do they have a dog? Do they have a cat? Do they have family over at Thanksgiving? All those things need to really be considered as you get ready to start construction on that project. And I know that Not a lot of people consider that. It's just like, oh, here's another project. Let's get in, get it done, make some money. And I get that, but let's just step back for a moment and just consider who it is that you're selling to. Because if you don't do that, it's like any other product that goes on the market. There is so much research that goes into so many of the products that we use every day by the companies who manufacture those products. Research about that ideal client and who's going to use that product. You need to take that same consideration in your buy, fix, and flip projects. And so with that said, reason number 2 is that buyers today are very savvy. So not only are you, as I mentioned in reason number 1, not only are you selling to real humans who have real lives and have real desires and things that they do and hobbies and crafts and what have you, but they're also very savvy, especially in that higher than the median home value. People who are purchasing, like I'll use the Houston area, 3, 4, 5, 7, $9 million homes. They're very savvy, and a lot of them are spending time online looking at images of interiors of homes and coming up with how they're going to decorate it, and how they are visualizing themselves in their new dream home, which is what while they're visualizing and while they're on the internet surfing and looking at what they desire in a home, you're over there building it and rehabbing it, and those two need to converge. And so you guys need to know that your buyers are savvy, and they're looking at things, and they're dreaming, and they're imagining what this home will look like. And so if they walk into your property and it has finishes that are dated, for example, because you can put brand new finishes in your rehabs and they are dated. So that's the last thing that you want to do, because they're going to walk right back. Or worse yet, they're actually not even going to come look at your property, because they're already online looking at houses that are on the market. They're looking at all the pictures. I mean, when I was looking for a house, that's the first thing I did. I didn't even look at the details of the house. Other than, was it a 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom? I had already filtered, how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms I wanted, what the square footage was that I wanted. But then right after that, I went right into the images, and I clicked through those images quickly. And so for any agents who are listening, just kind of a side note, your listing images are so vital. So hire a professional photographer that knows what they're doing, that is going to make that property amazing. And also, agents, if you didn't already know this and you're working with a homeowner who's trying to sell their home and they're still living in it, they've got their furniture in it, make sure that is staged appropriately. So anyway, just a little side note there. So going back to step number 2, buyers are very design savvy. Again, they're dreaming about what this is going to look like. They walk into that property, or like I said, worse yet, they're looking through the images on the listing. They're not even going to come to that house. If they are looking at cheap light fixtures, travertine subway tile that's dated now, just an FYI, no character traits to that house, they're just going to keep on going. They may come back to it if it's absolutely the only house on the block that has everything that they're looking for. And then they're going to actually give you a lower offer than what you want, because they know they're going to have to do some things to make it their home. So why not do that on the front end and make it sell quicker? Okay, and so reason number 3 is that good design leads to faster sales. So what I was just talking about, they're going to either skip over your listing, or they're going to come and they're going to offer lower, or they're going to sit on it for a while to see if anything else comes on the market that looks better, that's spiffier. Especially if they're in no hurry. And so therefore your house will sit on the market, and you'll not get any traction on it. And that's the last thing you guys need. So here's the thing. So if you're, if you've done a property that ARV is going to be around $300,000, you've bought it for whatever, you've borrowed however much you need to do the rehab, and you know that you're going to end up with so much profit at the end. You're looking at $2,000, $2,500 a month just in holding costs. Well, I don't know about other designers, but our services are well within that price range to get us in that property on the front end before you even start rehabbing it, hopefully right after you get it under contract. Have us give you feedback, give you insights. We don't charge very much for just an initial walkthrough, on-site walkthrough consultation. And then to have us help you put everything together, whether it's the floor plans to make the flow better, or whether it's the finishes to make sure that that property is really going to have some character and it's going to stand out from the rest of the properties on that block. You need to get us in on the front end, because if you don't, you're going to spend that money anyway on holding costs. So wouldn't you rather it sell faster? And also staging. I don't even need to get into staging right now. We're going to be talking about that down the road for sure. But again, you spend that money on the front end and hopefully make more money on the back end as a result, instead of it being eaten away month after month on holding costs because your property just didn't have the character that these savvy home buyers are looking for. So let me just go through these one more time, and I won't take up any more of your guys' time. So the three reasons why design is so important in your fix and flip rehabs is, number one, the buyers that are buying these homes are humans. They're real people, and they have real desires and real lives. And you need to take that into consideration. And then buyers today are very design savvy. As a matter, just a little side note on that too. Even design services, so like furnishings, decor, window treatments, paint, the things that happen after they purchase the property, or if they're in their own home and they just want to do something different with their living room or with their master bedroom or whatever, all those design services are very, very popular right now. And that's why e-design and some less expensive alternatives to the traditional, having a traditional interior designer come in and redo your home. It's very, very popular right now. So these people are looking at what their home is going to look like after they move in, but they also have an idea what it's going to look like before they move in. So again, they are real people, they are design savvy, and good design leads to faster sales. So I hope that helped you guys today. In the description, I left some resources for you. By all means, please go in and visit us and follow us on social media, REI Design Solutions, What the Flip Live, so that you are notified whenever we go live every Wednesday at 1 p.m. And also, of course, we're on Instagram, and our website has a ton of information about how to work with us at REI Design Solutions. And I'm going to go hug on my grandbaby now. So I hope y'all have a wonderful, wonderful rest of the week. It's hump day. I'm not going to say it like they do on the commercials. Sorry. Anyway, so thank you so much for tuning in. Blessings to you all and to your success.